And also Steve Kern, real quickly, if you have an announcement. We have something really important here today before we get on with our candidates. So Steve has an announcement.
Just a quick reminder, this coming Friday evening is the fundraiser for Sally at H&H Gun Range. I hope you all can come. Come early. You can get a meal at the For You Cafe and then come on in. I think you need to come early because we're going to have a lot of folks.
Okay. All right. And I think the star is some group called Frog Legs or something like that. And if you've never seen Chief Frog or Frog Legs, then you just don't know what's going on. Richard Engel, where are you? I need you. Okay. Senator Brown, would you come up here, please? Just stand right here beside me. I received a call, and please welcome State Senator Bill Brown. Bill is from the Broken area of the Tulsa area of the state of Oklahoma. I had a call from Bill on my voicemail last week, and one of the things that he indicated to me was real serious concern about the caucus and the direction that we were going and taking as a state party. And we visited for a little while, and he talked about the fact that we've just been lying to the voters. And so I asked him, he said, you know, I just don't know what to do about it, Charlie. And I said, well, how much heat are you willing to take for this? And he said, you know, I just don't care, because right is right. And what he had done is he had sent a letter to all of his colleagues in the Republican caucus expressing some serious concerns that he has. And I asked him if he would be willing to allow me to publish the letter in the next OCPAC email, and he agreed to do so. When he showed up today to bring me this letter, I also asked him again, how much heat do you want to take? And he said, Charlie, I tell you, I don't care. So we're actually videotaping this, and we'll put it up on our YouTube slip when we go. But I want to read the letter, and then I'm going to turn it over to Senator Brown for just 2 or 3 minutes for any additional things that he wants to say. This is dated April 24th. Dear caucus members, the issue of state budgeting has been bothering me for some time, and I feel the need to let everyone know my concerns. Many of us ran for office on a platform of reforming government and protecting the interests of taxpayers. After becoming the majority party, I believe we are continuing to pass the same type of state budgets as have been done for the past 100 years without reform of state agencies. I have proposed for several years that the legislature go to a state budgeting process in which we would spend one session crafting a 2-year budget. We could break the House and Senate into small committees, each formed to examine the budget of a particular agency or program. All state agencies should be required to follow a zero-based budget, examining each item of their appropriation request. The following session would be devoted to non-budget matters. The legislature has forgotten one of the core tests or tenets we proposed as candidates, the appropriations required for our state to function. Not the use of taxpayer money to fund projects enacted decades ago without examining each one and justifying its existence and funding requirements. Listed below are just some of the appropriated agencies I believe need such examination and review. One is the Arts Council, over $4 million. OETA, almost $4 million. Physician Manpower Training Commission, over $4 million. Teacher Preparation Commission, $1.5 million. Horse Racing Commission, over $2 million. Insurance Department, self-funded, $1.8 million.
Yes.
J.M. Davis Memorial Commission, over $300,000. Will Rogers Memorial Commission, over $700,000. Consumer Credit Commission, over $300,000. Space Industry Development Authority, almost $400,000. Rural Economic Action Plan, $11.5 million. Telecommunication Audits and Hiring Reform, $8.5 million. I believe that unless we look at the way we spend taxpayer money, we will continue to be challenged by opponents more physically conservative than we have proven to be. Sincerely, Bill Brown, State Senate. Bill.
Forgive me for one vote that I did not make. I did not make the vote. I was out of town last Thursday when Anthony Sykes ran his open carry bill, one that I totally 100% support, but I was called out in an emergency and was not in session last Thursday. So I will apologize for that, but Anthony's one of my dear friends. I looked at some of these, and they were mentioned. I don't have anything against the Arts Council. I think the Arts Council has its need and everything, but I think that ought to be a private, non-profit, raise money through your organization and support yourselves. If I want to give to the Arts Council, I can give to the Arts Council. So can you. But OETA, we had a long talk with OETA, and we're working out a deal. We're going to work out a deal where they're not appropriated. We might have to do it over a couple of year period of time, but I've already started working with them, and this one's going to happen. But I started looking at these horse racing commission. What does a horse racing commission do? My favorite is the Teacher Preparation Commission. I thought that's what universities were for. Well, I learned that that's for the continuing education for the teachers that used to be in the Department of Education. But what I told the author, I said, now, my wife is a school teacher. She's taught for 27 years. She's got 2 master's degrees plus 60 hours past her master's degree. I said, she doesn't need a commission telling her what to make her a better teacher. She doesn't need it. What are we doing this for? We go on, and you go on down and look at these, and I understand why the Rural Economic Action Plan what it was designed to do, because the rural communities are not getting the sales tax. They don't have that. That's not my fault. As a taxpayer, that's not my fault. So, but anyway, these are just some of the things we're looking at. I've had 2 responses from my caucus on this letter. 2. And one of them was negative, one of them was positive. So anyway, I thank you guys for your support. I wanted to bring this up because here we are 6 days away from sine die, and I have not seen a draft of this year's budget.
Oh.
So, Senator, let me hang on just a second. Somebody hand me that red book there that says the law, please. And you know, folks, what we're really talking about is so well described in this book, written by a French economist and statesman in 1848, by Frederick Bastiat, The Law. And what this book does is clearly define what are the proper functions. Where do you draw that line to understand what are the proper functions of government for which we must pay taxes versus those that are improper? And he makes the case in this book right here that when government gets out of its proper realm, it participates in what he calls legalized plunder or thievery. In other words, government makes legal what is morally wrong to do. And then this little booklet right here is an excerpt out of a book about the life and times of Davy Crockett. And it's called Not Yours to Give. And as a congressman, Crockett had violated the principles of the book, The Law. And when he went home for re-election, one of his constituents and pointed out how unconstitutional he was voting. And when Crockett realized it, he repented of that, and he went back to Washington to be a leader for what is right and what is good. What we're really talking about is we know we should fund government for its proper functions. It's that massive amount of government that exists out there is not core function of government, improper function. And that's what is not being cut. That's where the spending cuts are not occurring, and that's why we can't reduce taxes in the state of Oklahoma. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, sir, and the courage that you have to expose what's going on. Is there any difference in what we're doing and what Gene Stipe and his company have done for a long time?
Absolutely not. I took I've been in the Senate, this is my 6th year, and I took all 6 budgets and looked at them side by side, and every one of these are just identical. When we were tied for the Senate, was my first 2 years. We've been in the majority last 4, and the budgets are almost identical. We're doing some things to help repeal some of the things and lower some of the governments and combine some of the agencies. We're doing some things right. But these are budget items. These are taxpayers' dollars.
That's the key. It's too slow. That's why we're making very gradual, incremental changes. But now that we fully control everything, we could change it faster without harming the economy of this state and improving the economy of this state. Senator, thank you so much for your courage and your welcome.